Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you must walk alone. A time when the noise fades, the applause stops, and the distractions fall away. And in that silence, in that solitude, you find something far greater than what the world has to offer. You find yourself. Because being alone isn't about loneliness. It isn't about isolation. It's about power. The power to know who you are, the power to sharpen your mind, the power to build your foundation so strong that no storm can shake it. See, most people fear being alone. They avoid it at all costs. They fill the empty space with meaningless conversations, with constant entertainment, with anything that keeps them from facing themselves. But let me tell you something. Greatness is not built in crowded rooms. Success is not shaped by endless company. It is in the quiet, in the stillness, that true power is forged. Some of the greatest minds, the strongest leaders, the most unstoppable forces this world has ever known, they embraced solitude. They used it as a weapon, as a tool to sharpen their vision. Because when you are alone, you have no choice but to confront yourself, to listen to that inner voice, to face the truth about who you are and what you are capable of. And when you do that, when you stand in the fire of your own solitude and refuse to run, you come out stronger, wiser, and ready to conquer whatever stands in your way. So tonight, I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to give you 7 keys to understanding why being alone is not a weakness, but a strength. Not a burden, but a blessing. If you can embrace this, if you can master the power of solitude, you will never fear being alone again. In fact, you will seek it, you will use it, and it will make you unstoppable. Solitude reveals who you really are. The moment you strip away the noise, the distractions, the constant pull of the outside world, you are left with one thing: yourself. And for some, that is terrifying. Because when you're alone, you can't hide behind other people. You can't cover yourself with excuses. You can't pretend to be something you're not. But here's the truth. The most powerful thing you can ever do is face yourself. To sit in silence and ask, who am I? Not what the world has told you to be, not what society expects you to be, but who you truly are at your core. Because when you know yourself, you stop needing validation, you stop chasing approval, you stop bending and breaking just to fit in. See, most people go their whole lives never really knowing themselves. They move through life as a reflection of what others want them to be. But when you embrace solitude, when you take the time to understand your own thoughts, your own desires, your own fears, you become unshakable. Nobody can tell you who you are because you already know. And when you know yourself, you move differently. You walk with confidence. You stand on a foundation that no one can take from you. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but when you've spent time alone, when you've built that inner strength, you don't waver, you don't fold. You stay true to yourself, and that, my friends, is real power. So don't run from solitude. Don't fear being alone. Use it. Let it shape you. Let it teach you who you really are. Because when you know yourself, you don't need the world's approval. You become unstoppable, all on your own. Solitude strengthens your mind. A strong mind is a dangerous thing. It is a weapon that no one can take from you. But strength of mind isn't built in comfort. It isn't built in the constant company of others. It is built in solitude. In those moments when you are alone with your thoughts, when you have to push through your own doubts, your own fears, your own insecurities, think about it. When you're always surrounded by people, by noise, by endless distractions, how often do you actually think for yourself? How often do you challenge your own beliefs, push your own limits, question your own mind? Most people don't. They go with the flow. They let the world think for them. But the ones who master solitude, the ones who embrace the quiet, they sharpen their minds like a blade. Because when you sit in solitude, you have no choice but to think, to reflect, to ask yourself hard questions. And that's how you grow. That's how you develop wisdom. That's how you strengthen your mind so that when life throws challenges your way, you don't crumble. You don't panic. You stand firm because you've already trained yourself to handle the storms. And let me tell you something, when you have a strong mind, you are dangerous. You can walk into any room with confidence. You can face any challenge with clarity. You can rise above any situation because your power doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within. So don't run from solitude. Use it to train your mind. Use it to build your mental fortress. Because when your mind is strong, nothing can break you. Nothing can shake you. And that is real power. Solitude ignites your creativity. Creativity doesn't grow in crowded spaces. It doesn't thrive in noise. It doesn't flourish when you're constantly distracted by the opinions of others. Creativity is born in silence, in solitude. In those moments when you are alone with nothing but your thoughts, your imagination, and the endless possibilities of your mind. Some of the greatest artists, inventors, and visionaries in history understood this. They disappeared from the world, locked themselves away, and let their minds wander to places no one else could see, because creativity requires space. It requires stillness. It requires you to disconnect from the world so that you can tap into something deeper, something that cannot be found in the noise of everyday life. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence, free from distractions, and just let your mind create? No phone, no television, no conversations pulling you in 100 directions. Just you, your thoughts, and the limitless potential of your imagination. Most people never do this. They are so busy consuming that they never take the time to create. But when you embrace solitude, when you make time for stillness, your creativity comes alive. Ideas begin to flow. Solutions appear where you once saw obstacles. You start to think in ways you never have before because your mind is no longer cluttered with noise. You begin to see beyond what is and imagine what could be. And that is where true genius lies. Not in the constant hustle, not in the endless distractions, but in those quiet moments when you allow yourself to dream, to build, to create something from nothing. That's why solitude is not just a place of reflection. It is a place of invention, a place where ideas are born and where visionaries are made. So don't run from those moments of silence. Lean into them, use them. Because in solitude, you don't just find yourself, you find new ideas, new inspiration, and new ways to change the world. Solitude builds inner strength. There is a kind of strength that cannot be measured in muscles, a kind of power that does not come from physical ability, but from something far greater, the strength within. And that kind of strength is not built in crowds. It is not developed in the comfort of constant companionship. It is forged in solitude. See, most people fear being alone because they don't trust themselves to handle it. They believe that without the presence of others, they will break, they will fold, they will fall apart. But the truth is, solitude does not make you weak. It reveals how strong you really are. It strips away the safety nets, the crutches, the distractions, and forces you to stand on your own. And that is where real strength is born. When you are alone, you learn to rely on yourself. You learn to push through the hard times without looking for someone else to carry you. You learn that even in your darkest moments, you have what it takes to keep going. That is the kind of strength that no one can take from you, because life will test you. It will put you through trials that no one else can help you with. And in those moments, the strength you have built in solitude will be the difference between breaking and rising, between giving up and pushing forward, between staying stuck and breaking through to the next level of your life. So don't see solitude as a punishment, see it as training. See it as preparation. Because the person who has built strength in solitude, the person who has learned to stand alone, is the person who can walk through any storm without fear. Solitude teaches you to move in silence. Power is not always loud. Strength is not always seen. The most dangerous moves in life are the ones made in silence. And solitude is where you learn this. Because when you are alone, you realize something powerful. Your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, they do not need an audience. They need action. See, too many people are addicted to announcing their plans. They want the world to know what they're doing, what they're working on, where they're headed. But real power, real success, it moves in silence. It does not seek approval. It does not need validation. It does not beg for attention. It just works. And that's what solitude teaches you. When you step away from the need to constantly share, to constantly seek recognition, you gain something far greater. You gain focus. You stop worrying about what others think. You stop wasting energy on impressing people. You put your head down and you grind. And when you finally emerge, when your work is done, when your success is undeniable, that is when the world will see, not because you told them, but because you showed them. Think about the most successful people you know, the real movers, the real game changers. They don't talk about what they're doing every step of the way. They disappear. They work, they build in silence, and then, when the time is right, they show up with results so undeniable that no one can ignore them. That's how you move when you understand the power of solitude. You learn to keep your energy to yourself. You learn to let your results speak louder than your words. You learn that true power does not need to be announced, it is felt. Solitude helps you cut off the wrong people. Not everyone is meant to go with you. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. But when you're always surrounded by people, it's hard to see who is really for you and who is just using you. Solitude fixes that. When you step away, when you take time to be alone, you start to see things clearly. You realize who adds to your life and who drains you. You see who supports you and who secretly doubts you. Because the moment you distance yourself, the real ones will still be there. and the fake ones will disappear. And that is a blessing, because too many people are held back by the wrong crowd. They keep company with people who do nothing but bring negativity, drama, and distractions into their lives. But when you embrace solitude, when you become comfortable being alone, you are no longer afraid to walk away from what doesn't serve you. You stop fearing loneliness because you realize that being alone is better than being surrounded by the wrong people. You start protecting your peace, your energy, your vision. You start choosing quality over quantity. And that is when you truly begin to grow. Solitude prepares you for greatness. Every great journey begins alone. Every great leader, every great success story, every legend you have ever heard of, at some point they had to walk alone, because solitude is the test. It is the fire that refines you. It is the place where the weak quit and the strong rise. When you embrace solitude, you prepare yourself for the battles ahead. You build the mental toughness, the emotional resilience, and the unshakable foundation needed to achieve greatness. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to stand tall. And when the moment comes for you to step into your purpose, you are ready. Because solitude is not about being alone forever. It is about becoming strong enough to stand alone, so that when the right people, the right opportunities, and the right moments come, you are prepared. You are ready to take on the world. Not as someone who needs validation, but as someone who already knows their worth. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not fear being alone. Do not run from solitude. Embrace it. Use it. Let it shape you into the strongest version of yourself. Because when you master the art of solitude, when you find power in being alone, you will never need the world's approval again. You will move differently. You will think differently. And most importantly, you will win.